not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight.
Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power.
He's the Jordan of boxing. Simple as that.
The boxing world is stunned as Manny Pacquiao trains for a comeback fight at 46 years old. Coach Justin Fortune calls him the Jordan of boxing and believes age won't matter. He says Pacquiao stayed active throughout the years and is confident he will beat Barrios despite being 46 years old.
His age, yeah, I mean, but it's not, listen, he's 45, 46.
Are you in jail?
45, 46, but he's not. He's always active. So he's always staying active. He's always doing something, mostly playing basketball, some sort of sport, something cardio. So, no, not really.
When Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, he said, "I'm not surprised." So Manny could say that after he beats Barrios, that he wasn't surprised that he's supposed to win.
Well, Diaz beat, I mean, different Diaz, I like Diaz.
Manny Pacquiao's training at 46 is intense and explosive. His latest footage shows sharp footwork, lightning-fast punches, and non-stop energy. Fans are amazed by his speed and power at this age. Pacquiao looks focused and determined as he prepares for his fight, proving he's still a force in boxing. Oscar De La Hoya has stepped forward to show support for Manny Pacquiao in his return to the ring. Despite Pacquiao being in his mid-40s, De La Hoya believes that the Filipino icon still possesses the heart and skill to compete with younger fighters like Mario Barrios. He praises Pacquiao for his incredible achievements and notes that someone with that much experience should never be counted out. For De La Hoya, this isn't just about age. It's about what's still left in the tank.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs
he's a legend,
some nice ones. Thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
Fans and commentators are drawing parallels between Pacquiao and George Foreman, who famously reclaimed a world title at the age of 46. It's a rare feat in boxing history, but not impossible. Many believe that if Foreman could do it, Pacquiao, with his relentless energy and legendary status, might be able to replicate that achievement. The fight has taken on a narrative of defying age and expectations.
If George Foreman can win a title at 45 years old and Bernard Hopkins can do it at 49 years old, then Manny Pacquiao can win a world title at 46 years old. I see this narrative quite a bit online, and there's a difference between Foreman and Hopkins situations and Pacquiao's situation. I mean, Foreman was a heavyweight, and usually guys in the bigger weight classes, they can still compete as they get older, because they rely more on power and size, and less on footwork and speed. Right, Foreman, he knocked out more to win the titles. Now, Hopkins, he did have a pretty impressive skill set at 49 years old to outbox Shumenov, but again, the guy was heavier, 175 pounds, and he had never been stopped in his career, so he had less wear and tear on his body and chin. Whereas someone at the lower weight classes like Pacquiao, he relies more on speed, footwork, and volume, and these sorts of attributes will be worse at 46 years old. Not to mention, he has been stopped a couple of times, and he will be the smaller man than Barrios. So the odds are really stacked against him, and I don't completely count him out because he is so great and skilled, so I would give him a small chance. But Pacquiao winning would be more impressive than what Foreman or Hopkins did, because Manny's trying to do it at a smaller weight class.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas analyzed Mario Barrios' size and questioned his physical edge. According to Atlas, Barrios moved up in weight rather than being a natural welterweight. That could mean his size advantage isn't as real as it looks on paper. For Atlas, this evens out the playing field and makes the matchup more competitive than some might assume.
Not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first when he first turned pro, you would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy. But you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit, than when Pacquiao fought him. And maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
The boxing world remains divided over Pacquiao's chances. Some believe he still has the moves and mental edge to win. Others are cautious, acknowledging that age is not just a number in a sport as brutal as boxing. Comparisons have even been made to the Tyson versus Jake Paul event, suggesting that spectacle may be taking precedence over substance.
Podcast or his network, his YouTube show.
1 second. Do you have? So you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No, against Barrios.
Yeah.
No, I think look, every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman and Manny. I think Manny seems to want to. Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like he's really one of those great old school fighters where you gotta he's gotta go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any given fight. It used to mean that's how they went out, period, fighters. And Manny's like that.
I do not want to see.
It's really hard to see Manny Pacquiao losing to Mario Barrios because of who they are. But who they are now, you know?
Sean, I do not want to see like Manny on the knee, mouthpiece out. That's going to hurt me.
Kevin McBride, Mike Tyson.
That's going to hurt me.
Despite Pacquiao's claims of staying active over the years, some in the boxing community remain doubtful. They question whether he's truly kept up the necessary pace to compete at the elite level. Skipping official fights and relying on training alone may not be enough to prepare for someone as game as Barrios. Critics want proof in the ring, not in the gym.
A bite, a overhand right. Stop it! Welcome to K9 Boxing. And it's yours truly, Cornelius K9 Bundridge, the oldest world champion in junior history. And Manny Pacquiao is looking to step back in the ring, y'all, against Mario Barrios, July the 19th. If I'm not mistaken, it's July 19th. And I give Manny Pacquiao a good chance at winning. Because, you know, a lot of people say, well, he's been inactive, he's older. Man, but he throw punches. He has a lot of experience. And his last fight was an exhibition, which still was a fight and still kept him sharp, punching, doing something. So it ain't like he just ain't been in the ring, ain't did nothing. Yeah, he been working. It's like them underground boxing matches are real fights. And it keep you off bold. You know, Emmanuel Stewart used to do a lot of exhibitions for his guys, or his guys to get them sharp, to get them prepared for a fight. If they hadn't fought in a minute, just to have them fight sharp. What up, Keith? Yeah, just to have them fight sharp. So if they got in the ring and they hadn't fought in a minute, it won't seem like it. It'd be like seem like they just recently fought. Yeah, so, you know, it's a lot of stuff you can do to make yourself relevant, sharp, can have you right, ready for a fight. Yeah. My young dogs, Kevin, Kyrie, and Tadell, the Hawk, the Dogs, they fought to a draw.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia respects Pacquiao's legacy but sees age as a serious obstacle. He warns that even legends can be betrayed by their own bodies as time catches up. While Garcia doesn't completely rule out Pacquiao winning, he views the fight as dangerous due to Barrios' size and youth. To him, this bout is less about glory and more about high risk.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. But I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition where against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been off. That'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Pacquiao, he's probably top 5 all time, one of the greatest fighters.
Roy Jones Jr. expressed genuine admiration for Pacquiao, not just for his long list of achievements, but for always seeking out the best challenges. For Jones, Pacquiao's return is a celebration of competitive spirit and courage. He finds inspiration in the idea that someone so accomplished still hungers for one more defining moment inside the ring.
But how do you feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I love Manny, and I'm glad Manny going in too. Manny is one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in 2 of his first 3 fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did, that story is also just as awesome as Manny Pacquiao's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all this.
Let's show some love to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, who has been highlighting all of these fighters and people in the sport that we love, favorite sport in the world. Over there in Canastota, this year there's gonna be a big weekend of boxing under Salida Promotions, live on the Zone at the Turning Stone Casino. So shout out to everybody that's being inducted this year.
Yes.
Shout out to the Hall of Fame.
Even with high-energy training footage circulating online, veteran observers are concerned. They argue that looking sharp in workouts doesn't always translate to a solid performance under the bright lights. There's concern about whether Pacquiao still has the reflexes to dodge fast counters, the chin to absorb punches, and the gas tank to last multiple rounds against an active opponent.
This is a bad idea. Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But Manny's been retired for 4 years. He's 46 years old. His last fight was in 2021, and he lost to Ugas in a unanimous decision. I watched his exhibition bout against the kickboxer guy in Japan. And again, I think people will look at this and go, well, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, and yeah, that happened. And I also said that Mike was going to get really badly hurt, and it was a terrible idea for him to do that. There were some health issues and everything else. Luckily, Mike didn't get super hurt in the fight, but this is a world championship level fight against a sitting world champion, and Manny does not belong in there. And again, I'm worried that he's going to get hurt badly.
The fight against Barrios is more than just another payday for Pacquiao. He's chasing the WBC welterweight title, the same belt that helped launch his name into global stardom. It's a full circle moment, a symbolic attempt to end his career where it truly took off. This gives the fight extra weight, turning it into a mission of legacy rather than just victory.
Boxing Doctor News told Onto Your Gloves, boxing fans, the rumors are true. Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring. At 46 years old, the Filipino legend is taking on WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios this July. But here's the kicker. Pacquiao's first world title was as a flyweight, and now he wants to retire as the WBC welterweight champ. Talk about a career comeback, but can the Pac-Man turn back time? He hasn't been in top form lately, while Barrios is coming off a tough draw. Will Pacquiao's experience triumph over youth, or is this one fight too far? Either way, July is shaping up to be an explosive month for boxing. Pacquiao's rolling the dice one last time. Will he make history as the oldest welterweight champ ever? Get ready for a showdown that'll have you on the edge of your seat.
Pacquiao's enthusiasm for this fight is clear. He emphasized that fighters should aim to entertain, regardless of outcome. For him, what matters most is giving fans something memorable. That mindset adds emotional weight to the event, as he seems focused on creating an exciting show rather than merely getting his hand raised.
So you didn't see Haney. Haney was running for 12 rounds without stopping. I was very impressed. He ran. He didn't throw maybe 100 punches the whole fight. You throw more in shadow boxing in 10 seconds. It was pretty bad.
Rolando Romero beat Brian. He dropped the boxing.
That's how you entertain the fans. Yeah, boxing became popular because of the support of the fans, of the people. So make sure that the fans will satisfy in every fight that you have. You give it to them. That's true. That's balance. You cannot pay back of all the sacrifice that you have in the people that are not satisfied.
Some longtime fans are uneasy about Pacquiao returning to the ring at this stage. Their concern isn't just about him getting hurt, but also about what a loss could mean for his legacy. If things go badly, this final chapter might overshadow all the brilliance that came before. There's a desire to remember him at his best, not see him struggle.
So Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now I have every issue in the world with this. Manny Pacquiao, he's my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Jordanis Ugas, and in that fight he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against a kickboxer, Rukia Anpo first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old, and not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. If there's one champ at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. Pacquiao's accomplished everything in the sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 46.
Mario Barrios enters the matchup with composure and a clear plan. While he respects Pacquiao, he doesn't appear starstruck. He aims to leverage his youth and reach, keeping the pressure steady throughout the fight. For Barrios, this is a defining opportunity, not just another name on a resume. He's hungry and intends to prove that this is his era now.
When you see the Manny Pacquiao fight, what can you learn from that fight?
It showed that, combination punchers, that's how Pacquiao, was landing, his punches, combinations. And, it just showed you that, he is a great fighter, but I'm going into this camp, coming into this fight confident, everything right with our game plan, and I'm going to try to execute it as best as I can.
Should Pacquiao emerge victorious, the possibilities open wide. Both are explosive southpaws with loyal fan bases, and such a bout could headline major venues and generate massive hype. This fight could be the stepping stone toward one last mega fight to cap off an extraordinary career.
Gervonta Tank Davis has a 6 to 7 fight deal with the PBC and Amazon for $200 million. That's like $30 million a fight, all right? He also has a fight date for November. El Rayo team has said they're not fighting this year, so he's not the guy. So the question is, who is the guy who is willing to fight Tank by November and could build the fight into a fight worth $30 million? Y'all must be out y'all minds if y'all think that Manny Pacquiao versus Gervonta Tank Davis isn't a huge fight. That'll probably be his biggest fight ever. Y'all know that's a big fight because The boxing fan today, they know Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. That's who they know.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.